You know, if 2021 was a Netflix movie, we'd all be hooked. But, you know, we got a chance to live it instead. Remember this? God, is it cold out here? God, it's cold.
I think we are out of lots citywide in New Braunfels to build on now.
There's no homes. There's almost nothing anywhere. Mask or no mask. You know, I'm from Michigan and this weather is like getting a little too ridiculous. So this and this, the new Braunfels factor, is what's causing our market here in New Braunfels to spin out of control. It's been an interesting year, to say the very least, but today we're gonna wrap it all up. The year in review for New Braunfels. We're gonna go over some of my predictions I made for 2021, see if any of them came true, and bold new predictions I'm gonna make for the housing market in New Braunfels for 2022 at the end of the video, so make sure to stick around for that. If you guys are new here to my channel, thanks so much for hopping on. Just hit that subscribe button because we're putting out new videos every week about what it's like to live in New Braunfels. Before we get started, a very special thank you to you, each and every one of you, for coming back every week and subscribing and watching this channel and commenting. We got comments from you, engagement, and that's the most important thing. And we went over 1,000 subscribers this year. I'm not sure who number 1,000 was, but hey, thank you to each and every one of you for coming back here and watching. That's the main thing, engaging. If you guys get something from this channel, that's the goal. And really, the overall goal is accuracy in these videos. So when you come to New Braunfels for the first time and you move to New Braunfels, you're able to say, you know what? New Braunfels, Rod, is exactly how you explained in your videos. All right, here we go. The year in review in New Braunfels, plus bold new predictions about the housing market in New Braunfels for 2022. For sure, in 2021, there was never a dull moment. I can almost promise you it's not gonna look like this when you move here. Mother Nature took center stage here around the third week of February, dumping several inches of snow across New Braunfels in Texas. Snow, yes. Yes, you're hearing that right, several inches in Texas. Our dogs were a little freaked out too. I thought I left this stuff behind in Michigan. I remember putting on 5 layers of clothes, 5, to tape this video in February. And by the end of the taping, I was still freezing. We lost power surprisingly just for a few hours that first day, but we were under the boil water advisory for a few days, so that was a little inconvenient. But I felt really bad for one of our client families. Their first trip to New Braunfels, they came out the week before the storm, scouting properties and even locking up one. They dressed warm, they planned to leave on a Monday, but that's when the snow hit and grounded all flights out of Austin and San Antonio. So the family had to extend their stay in New Braunfels that week. Happy ending though, because they're here now to stay. Speaking of client families, my head just started spinning end of February, March, into April, with an avalanche of families wanting to move to New Braunfels. The pandemic restrictions and political climate in their states, they were the last straws for them, and they called and emailed and texted wanting a better life in New Braunfels. I remember that time well because I got very little sleep. 18, 19, 20-hour days were the norm in the first 2 quarters for me, and that's about the time the housing market here in New Braunfels turned into the Twilight Zone. So anyone looking for anything under 300 is really pretty much priced out right at this point.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, unless they go, they're just going to have to go to a different area. It's not going to be New Braunfels, new construction.
Supply chain was never an issue with building. It was always qualified buyers or mortgage rates. Now it's whether or not we can actually get the houses built for people.
That was and still is the theme in New Braunfels for 2021. Lumber prices have come down. Whether or not they stay down for 2022, I'll get to that, my prediction, at the end of this video. But really the theme, a lot of buyer demand, a lot of folks wanting to move to New Braunfels, just not a whole lot of homes available for sale. Because of that, home prices skyrocketed here month to month. With new builds and existing homes, builders could only build so fast. They can only contract a few homes a month because of the shortage of supplies and shortage of workers. Will that continue in 2022? I'll let you know in a couple minutes. Because home prices here in New Braunfels were increasing every single week in the first 2 quarters, several of our families decided to lock into a home, into a contract virtually. They never stepped a foot in New Braunfels, but they saw some videos about New Braunfels, and we sent them videos of their lots and the surrounding area, surrounding communities, and they felt confident enough to make a decision. Because they committed virtually, they saved easily between $8,000 and $12,000 because prices here in New Braunfels on the new builds were going up minimum $2,000 a week, and they weren't planning trips out here for another 4 to 6 weeks, so they saved. All the new people coming to New Braunfels, all the new neighbors, I started noticing my drive times increasing here in New Braunfels, so traffic started increasing. Don't laugh, guys, especially you guys from larger metro areas. Every time I talk about traffic, you laugh because I know it's all relative, right? But trust me, traffic has increased here, and when you come live here, you're gonna notice it as well. But when you grow, you need to improve the infrastructure, and New Braunfels is doing that. Road widening, road improvements, bridges, overpasses, millions of dollars invested on roads right now. So take the road construction and the relaxing of the COVID-19 restrictions, all gone here in Texas, and New Braunfels just blew up with tourists. You guys remember the final scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? After the credits, he comes out, Ferris does, after a shower in his robe, and he says, "You're still here? It's over. Go home." I mean, that was me. That's what I was thinking after Labor Day here in New Braunfels. Like, it's over, the summer's over, go home. But nobody was going home. In fact, they were coming back every week because we have a ton of events in New Braunfels and activities year round. Everything that was put on hold in 2020 came back with a vengeance in 2021. Here's what Unmasked looks like in New Braunfels, in our historic district of Green, at our biggest event of the year, Worst Fest. Look at all the people. Our county parades and fair, thousands of people lining the streets and circling the plaza. Look at all these people, just happy to be back to our new normal. Our two rivers rocked this year with tubers, kayakers, canoers, fishing. Our famous water park Schlitterbahn was packed, rain or shine. And our parks were packed as well, especially for the 4th of July fireworks. People were cooped up inside for over a year and a half, so naturally, no one could wait to let loose. Our resorts were sold out this summer, and resort owners told me guests didn't want the rooms cleaned. They were just happy to be here. That's a good thing because everyone was short workers, still are. You know, there was one time this year where I almost lost it, just turned into the Hulk. It wasn't the snow in February. It wasn't even the fact that Subway was closed when I went one afternoon in the summer because of the lack of workers. It wasn't that. It had nothing to do with the shortage of homes or the increasing pricing here. It was the rain. What seemed like 2 months straight in the spring, 2 months straight of rain, buckets of rain. If you're from California, hey, this is a welcome sight, but for 2 months? If you were in the very beginning stages of building your home, you basically had to wait 2 months to pour your foundation. Eventually, the rain stopped and buildings started up again. That momentum kept chugging along with new places coming to New Braunfels this year or in 2022, like Santikos Theater that opened up this summer, replacing the Alamo Draft House. Plans underway for a future hotel, retail, and office space at the utility building in downtown New Braunfels. A new 6,000 monster unit residential community straddling I-35 is coming. So is new luxury apartments just 3 minutes from Green. A new 55 and older community coming to New Braunfels around the Creekside shopping area as well. And several more affordable housing options. Did I say that right? Several more affordable housing options coming. The oldest grocery store in New Braunfels is being replaced with a new, larger one. More jobs coming to New Braunfels, new schools as well. All right, so it's time to see how I did with my 2021 predictions. Did I bomb? Did any of them come true? Here is one of the predictions I made on the video last year. My number one prediction for 2021 is that new construction will continue to dominate the New Braunfels market. New construction did continue to dominate the New Braunfels market to the tune of almost $600 million in new build construction investment. The city issued a record 248 new build permits in July alone, and since 2010, we've added 14,000 new homes in New Braunfels. Here was another prediction I made for 2021. Housing prices are going to continue to climb in 2021. Yep, that one came true too. The median home price in New Braunfels shot up, increased $66,000 in 1 year. Here was another prediction I made for 2021. I'm predicting, my last prediction is that we're going to be at 100,000 people in New Braunfels by the end of 2021. Technically, the jury is still out on that prediction because the city or the census report hasn't come out with new numbers of population in New Braunfels, but I'm going to say the population here is past 100,000 right now because just based on the record number of residential building permits the city has issued here in New Braunfels, as well as the increased traffic here in New Braunfels every single day, not just on the weekends. But if it comes out that we're not over 100,000 people, my first prediction for 2022 will be that we will shatter that mark. Okay, that was a softball prediction for 2022. Let's get into the hardball ones right now. One of my bold new predictions for 2022 is that lumber will creep up from where it is now, but it will not go back to where we were this past summer. $1,600 per 1,000 board feet. Right now it's half that. It's gonna creep up, but we're gonna get some relief because there are some new sawmills coming online, especially in the south. Another bold prediction, this may not be bold, but we're still gonna have a shortage of contractors and skilled trades in 2022, just because this all starts in 2008, 2009, when the market just tanked, the housing market tanked. No one was buying, no one was building, and 2/3 of our skilled trade workers got out of the business altogether. So unless we have an infusion of around 400,000 skilled trade workers for the next 3 years, we're going to continue to see these shortages. Here's another bold prediction I'm making for 2022. That supply chain chaos in California right now, I'm predicting it's going to continue to drag on for the simple fact that unless this administration or something happens where that loosens up, it's not going to get resolved. Remember, a lot of truck drivers retired during the pandemic. So if you get to that stuff to the port, it's hard to get it off the port and distribute it to the rest of the country because there's a lack of truck drivers and freight trains as well, which drags on that supply chain, and you rely on supply chain for things like appliances, plumbing fixtures, lighting fixtures, sometimes windows and mirrors, which leads me nicely into my next new bold prediction for 22 housing market in New Braunfels. Prices will continue to increase. Just not, my prediction, they will not increase 28% year over year like they did this year. I'm thinking it's going to be more like 8 to 16%, and I'm saying that because I'm noticing here in New Braunfels more new construction builders building inventory homes. Builders like Pulte, Lennars, Syntex, Century Communities, and D.R. Horton are moving toward all inventory homes. Now, an inventory home is a home that a builder specs out with all the bells and whistles and then sells it to you. They've already worked through the supply chain issues long ago. So you get the house faster and you avoid escalation costs because with inventory homes, builders know what's going in the home. So they order all the materials in bulk, which saves them money and saves you money. Pulte is going to 100% inventory homes when their new phase is released at Vermindy in New Braunfels in 2022. Now, if you want to build from the ground up, making your own selections, it takes time to do that, and it should, right? And you may be relying more heavily on the supply chain. So tack on another few months of build time if you're making your own upgrades and selections and decisions, because it's going to take more time. I'm telling you guys this right now. Don't get mad at the builder or your real estate agent about build times and when your house is supposed to be finished, because they can't order anything. A lot of things cannot be ordered until you make your decisions on your upgrades if you're building from the ground up versus an inventory home. So don't walk away from the contract and get mad, because now you know it's going to take time. All right, my last bold prediction for 2022 is we will not see several inches of snow or the cold that we saw this year in February. It's going to be warmer in 2022 and it's going to be drier in 2022. And if I just jinxed us, then feel free to throw a snowball at me if you see me out and about in February or March. That's it. That's the year in review in New Braunfels and my bold new predictions for 2022. What do you guys think? What are your predictions for 2022? Is one of them maybe to move to New Braunfels? If it is, I'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.